Welcome back, everybody, to Aligning with Success. This is September 28, and we are rock and rolling into 2020, which is getting close to being hindsight. Well, I'm curious, first and foremost, who took it upon themselves to listen to either Silver's a Blast or just who did it, listen to the recording Silver's a Blast. Did any of you do that? Okay, so I'm going to remind you again, it's a really worthwhile recording. Silver's a Blast. It's on YouTube, and it will walk you through the science of mind when it comes to an emotion, when it comes to a person running for silver. It's inspiring, and it may inspire somebody on your team who hasn't yet made a decision. If you remember, we were talking about decisions being such an important part of the process of movement forward, and the lock-in events are the decision points. So by now you would have had a chance to get in touch with whoever you may have had invited to the event 2 weekends ago, and the lock-in event, the Zoom-in event, and we're closing in on the end of the month incentives. So that incentive, the one that sort of stood out for me, was the 3,000 PGV. Or was it PV? It's 3,000 of something. I can't remember if it's PV or PGV.
PGV.
It's PGV? Okay, so 3,000 PGV, then, and half of which is at retail, qualifies you for being able to place an order at 20% off in the following month in October, after, I believe, the 12th. There's a window in October through to November, I believe. And that includes free shipping if you do the 3,000 PGV, if there's 50% retail. So I think it's a great thing to remind people as you're thinking of, how do I engage a conversation with somebody? How can I go back to the well? You need to go back with some information or some urgency. And this can create some urgency, since we've got only a couple of days left in the month to take advantage of that. And that, of course, that is for your consultants. So that's what you're talking about. You'll have to figure out how to create urgency for your customers. And a couple of calls back, when we had Dr. Gary Linder talk about the incentives that he runs for his customers. Again, maybe you want to think about an incentive, keeping in mind you're going to be taking advantage of 20% off anyway. So think about that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was just the concept of alignment. I can't stress this point enough, because I think everyone's challenge is keeping our mind and our hearts in alignment. And there's so much going on right now in the news environment that I think the only way to be sane is to resolve in your mind, there is no truth. Everything you're hearing is bullshit. Excuse my language, but it's all bullshit. And there's no truth. There's just whoever's take. There's whoever's trying to push their agenda on it. We're all susceptible to this onslaught of information, rational, irrational, and it's like noise. It's gotten to a point for me where it's just noise. It's just background noise. I don't even pay attention anymore. I don't really care what they're saying, who they're saying, whatever. I just think that when we turn off the news, we begin the beginning of a new life. It's called programming for a reason. We have been programmed. And I happen to believe that programming is by design. It's not just for entertainment's sake. And so we have been conditioned to think of ourselves as mere mortals. as just simply people who are responsive to circumstances outside of themselves. Not only that, but we also seek outside of ourselves approval. We're always looking to the outside world to confirm and approve of us, and whatever our thoughts and our processes are. And I'm saying this because social media has become quite a nuisance as well. It seems you're not entitled to an opinion anymore, because if you have one, somebody's going to tell you why it's wrong or why you're an idiot or whatever. It's become just incredible. So I suspect we are, and this is me to you, I suspect we are now approaching an era where social media is no longer relevant and will be, in fact, replaced. It's become very inefficient and very ineffective. So I think that is the beginning of an end. So we want to become a little bit more personal if we're going to utilize social media. And last week we had some really good insights from Barb Richmond, who's on the line, about how to utilize your social media in a way that's more human. That human element, that human component of it, I think is the critical way to leverage it if you're going to do it at all. And by the way, I happen to notice if I ever put out a political statement of any kind, there's almost nobody actually sees it. Whether they've they shut it off, the censors, or whether people don't really want to pay attention to it. But if I put a picture of my kids on social media, boom, the hits go through the roof. So clearly,
kids are dogs, kids are pets.
So clearly, the more personal it is, the more advantageous it is, the more you're going to get connection, and the more you're going to get responsiveness. I'm just noticing, for instance, I put a picture of my son today on my 3 medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and it's amazing. And by the way, the one that has the most responsiveness is Instagram. So I'm really quite amazed at how much more traction I get when it's personal. So just food for thought. But let's get back to this concept of alignment. So how do we engage our business? How do we engage prospects? Because we have a very, very important event coming up, the NICAN convention online. How many of you got your ticket? Remember, that was the other thing we talked about. Okay, some of you are not on screen. Some of you haven't put your hand up. So clearly getting your ticket is step number 1. That way you reserve your spot. But it's also a decision point for you. When you make a decision like attending the event to the degree where you buy a ticket, now you're in it. You've moved from, thanks Jeannie, you've moved from being a spectator or a person thinking about doing it. Well, yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get my ticket. Go from being the person who's going to get your ticket to the person who got your ticket. That step is a creative step. It's an action step. And we need to be doing things as the CEO of our business that are action-oriented, that are results-oriented. So your ticket is an important thing. Now the question then becomes, who are you going to invite and how are you going to invite them? In the context of alignment, with all of the noise that everybody's being subjected to, okay? There's a lot of noise out there. How do we bring context, alignment, both with our minds and our hearts, in this conversation to people in a personal way with an invitation? So I'm going to open that to you for your commentary, because I think you need to think about it out loud. Let's get some creative juices flowing here and discuss how we can brainstorm on effective ways to convey this message to people. I was, and I'm going to start. I was watching a playback of a video from the Humans Being More event in Toronto this last year. It was myself and Bernadette McBurney in front of the audience right after that morning session on the Saturday where we did the different tables. People came in and we did that. And it was an amazing session where people got a chance to go to table to table to table. And the last table was about the business, and we were there to discuss the business. And somebody recorded it. And that video, and in that video, I mentioned something about receiving the day before 3 short videos, one of 2 parents, and then 2 1-minute videos before and after NECAN with their 7-year-old son. And I said, you know, they want to share this with everybody. And do you think they want to share this because they're going to get paid? No. They want to share this because of what it's done to their family. And as soon as I said that, I was sort of pointing to myself, and boom, I got hit with it. I choked up and I had a hard time speaking. And, you know, I was like reliving the moment again. I got really emotional watching the video. So emotion is such a moving thing, such a thing that can move people to really think about or reconsider or consider what you're doing. How can we bring put our hearts out there and connect on that level with people on a deeper, more profound level where our emotions are involved? And because we get excited, and excitement is an emotion, but it's not quite the level of emotion where, you know, there's where you personally are touched. You're touched in a deep and meaningful way, and that communicates. So maybe my suggestion is you relate a story. Is there a story in your arsenal of people that you personally have had a hand in making a difference, having an impact in their life in some way, some meaningful way, that you can relay that story, because that story connects to who you are, why you do what you do, why you're so motivated to do what you do, and you do it with such intensity and such heartfelt intention. If you can relate that story to them, that means you got to go find it. Starting, you know, go through your soul search, through your myriad of stories, and find one that you really connect with on an emotional level. And I'll give another example before we move on and ask for you guys to open up. How many of you have ever heard Dr. Stan Bogus? Now, I've known him since I've been in NECAN, 29 years. And maybe short 5 or 6 months, or whatever it was when he came to the Ottawa event, and I met him for the first time and heard his story for the first time. But I swear, every time I hear him tell his story, it's as if he's telling it for the first time. That's how powerful it is. And he's still so connected to that story on an emotional level that you can't help but just gasp. That's what I'm talking about. You show me where that exists in the world right now of noise. People are either angry or frustrated. That's not what I'm not talking about that kind of emotion. I'm talking about emotion that's pure love, pure joy, pure vulnerability. So find that story that is something you've had a hand in, a life that you've had a hand in, that you've helped make a difference, and use that story, bring that story back to life, so that when you're talking to somebody, figure out how to bring that story into the conversation and let it do what it does. It touches you, it moves you, it reminds you of the power that you have to change and to make a change in people's lives. Anyone else want to jump in? Some suggestions on how we can make contact with people and get that mind-heart coherence, so that when we're communicating with them, we're a breath of fresh air. We're something that they're so looking for, and bring them into the invitation process. Any thoughts out there?
It's interesting, Mike, that you said to go ahead and get your ticket. What I was and I just went and did it, but I went I was looking at how many guest tickets I'm going to need, or what am I looking at getting. And so I hadn't purchased mine yet, but I just did. And in that, there's a few consultants I was talking to, just kind of, I call it shaking the trees. And some were, you know, and they're like, well, it's virtual. Like, why is there a fee? I said, well, first off, if I were Nikken, I'd want to know who's coming, right? I mean, that's one way. And then it's our commitment to Nikken about the event. Like, I was justifying it. I found myself justifying it a bit. And then I said, and a bunch of us won tickets to the event. And how are they going to give us the tickets to the event if we don't buy a ticket to the event, right? Like, so, you know, I was just kind of creating stuff. But in the meantime, I'm thinking, okay, I've invited numerous guests to different events on Zooms. And I'd say the rule of third applies. You know, you're going to get 3 yeses and only 1 show up. Or you get 2 yeses and nobody shows up, right? I mean, it's really kind of a wild thing how people will just say yes and not do it. You know, I mean, I do find that interesting. So I'm in this quandary with you. How do we make it exciting, creative, new? I still use the collaborative word quite a bit. I know y'all are looking at influencers and stuff, but I like the collaborative because we do collaborate. We collaborate with all kind of businesses, all kind of people doing other things for their income. And how can we support that? And I think Nikken goes hand in hand with a lot of that. So if we can bridge off of that.
How about something like this, Barbara? Are you fed up with all the noise? Are you fed up with the chaos? Do you want to have hope, a renewed sense of hope for the future? Is that important to you?
Yeah.
Do you want to go back to having some fun in life? Is that important to you? Feeling exhilarated, feeling like you're actually making a difference. Is that important to you?
Yes. Yeah.
So, like, really hit those questions. Is that important to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's, let me tell you a story. And then you tell the story. And so you're connecting it to a very real and emotional experience that you had and how that changed a life. And, you know, this watching this playback really touched me because it was me talking. but it's different when you're talking in real time. And then when you're listening to yourself in playback and you're saying, I said that and I felt that and I feel that. And it was essentially why we do what we do. I was expressing, emoting why we do what we do. And it's so profound. And I think when we look at what's going on, what we look at what's going on right now, we do want that connectivity. We do want to make that connection with people and get out. It's like we got to get out of the bubble that we've been put in. We've been put in this bubble of chaos and politics and divisiveness, such division. It's within families, within relationships. It's insane. And it's permeating everywhere and everyone. And you just got to say, this is the devil's work. This is not God's work. God doesn't divide. Love does not divide. Tune it out. Just tune it completely out and start speaking the language of love because it's attractive. It's what brings people together. It's what brings everything together. And so I'm saying, how do you get into that emotion in an authentic way? Go back to a place where you fell in love with Nikken and why you do what you do. Connect with a real story that you've had, even if it's your own or somebody else's. And that's the moment of truth. And when somebody experiences you in that environment, in that energy, they're gonna feel it. And that's the conversation. That's the degree of conversation we need to get to, I think, right now, because the superficial is so intense and it's so spread out that it's just not going to get you anywhere. People will say, yeah, I'll be there. And then they don't. Why? They're out of alignment. Their head is saying one thing, their heart is saying another. How do you know? Because their heart wasn't there. They didn't show up. You know, I like what Bob Proctor would say. How do you know? You know, you can tell where somebody wants to be, just follow their body. So, so yeah, any thoughts, guys? Any ideas? Because we're at a very important time, and I think what we're doing right now, and I'm saying this, I'm layering this with insights that I have about what's coming in the next 3 months, and with insights about what I have with respect to where Niken's going. You have been waiting for this, and we've been waiting for this. It's finally upon us, and the floodgates are going to break open, and you're going to be the one of all the people that anybody has had in connection with, that they're going to say, this is a voice of reason. This is a person I can trust. This is a safe place. And so that's what I'm talking about, getting you into an alignment where you are just simply immovable. You're the rock of Gibraltar. In all the noise and the whirlwind and everything that's going on, you're just that rock of Gibraltar. You don't get sucked into it. You don't get moved by it, because you're on a completely different channel. You're in the space of love. You're in the space of emoting that unification, of emoting collaboration, of emoting. You know, we're building a new world, guys. We're building a new world. Don't you see that there will never be the old world? It is never going to be again, ever. And it shouldn't. So if we needed an excuse, we did a fantastic job this year of making one. We manufactured, we manifested, since we are completely accountable for everything that happens on this planet. And you might say, well, oh, no, I'm not accountable for that. I didn't do that. Oh, yes, you did. You were programmed from the moment you first breathed on this planet, and your subconscious mind has been contributing to the authoritarian nature of reality, and the dictators, and the you know, all the stuff that we're all complicit. We are unconscious, but now we're conscious. We're one group that is awake. So that means application. How do we apply our thoughts, feelings, and actions that are now consistent with the manufacturing, the creation of a world that we want to live in? I tell you, man, I'm not living in Bill Gates' world. To hell with that. That ain't happening. Not on my watch. So what world do you want to live in? I don't want to live in isolation. To hell with that. I'm not walking around with masks for the rest of my life. My body doesn't need a vaccine in order to heal itself. What ludicrous notion ever gave you the idea that that was even real? You were programmed. Everybody's been programmed, and they're pushing that thing down. You know, so I'm saying, break out of the paradigm, break out of the program. We're above that. We're beyond that. Create the world that you want to live in. What does it look like? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Connect to it. Bring that to your conversation. Imagine that future. So, some suggestions. You're picking up the phone, you're calling somebody, or you're texting somebody to invite them into this conversation. What do you say? Anyone? I want you to imagine someone, just someone maybe that you've hesitated to contact, or someone that you've contacted in the past and you didn't feel like it went the way it should have gone. And your heart's saying, it didn't work right. It didn't happen right. We need to do this again. I'm not giving up on that situation?
You know, Mike, the best thing I find there is to fess up. And Sam, I really did you a disservice. And I have to say that when I think of building, who am I taking on my team? Who am I taking in the new world and the new thing? And what am I building and what am I doing? Your name and you keep just coming up to mind for me, and whatever the reasons are that they keep coming up for you. And it might be that. And I don't know why your name keeps coming up for me or that I keep thinking of you. But the fact that I do, and I listen to my intuition, and it says call you and talk to you and invite you, because we don't know what this future holds for us. But I do know that, Nikan's been here for the long haul. We've had some amazing things. We're launching a whole new revolution, and I'd love for you to just come check it out. And
I was waiting for that word, by the way. I just wrote it down as I'm waiting for that word.
Check it out.
Love.
Oh, love. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to partner with you.
Yeah.
I love you. You're an amazing human being.
We're up for making a difference. I know I am. Nikan not only made a difference in my life, in my world, with the physicality, the products, the things, giving me back the gift of life, but it gave me a catalyst to play in, an arena to really shine and to grow and to be the person that I never knew I could.
And then I take it to the next step and say, are you comfortable meeting? Do you want to begin with the only way for those that are here, and the other ones that are further away? I've shipped stuff and then done the demonstration and do it with your kids. And so I've broken the rules. I've done rollouts. I've loaners out. I've had people in my bed. I only have one.
Broken the rules? Was that a rule?
Broken the rules, yeah. Well, I mean, people that are worried about catching the COVID, and I have silver in process and have already surpassed the numbers of people want hugs and community. What does the word community mean? But to feel a hug and to say, and is it okay if I take my mask off? Well, I said, okay, if I don't put mine on. And it's what you're comfortable with. And it's really the relationshiping. Barb and I have been checking with one another, and we're both doing pretty well, sharing with who we've been meeting with and just kind of swim buddying one another with our techniques. And it's working. So
Madeline, you're probably on this call one of the people that has the most activity and duplication going on.
And more this month. And
so tell us about it, because here we are, we're reaching for ideas and creating.
Well, it's the stories. The stories. So this young cleaning lady, this Amy that I've been telling you about, I mean, she is so busy. I have all of the credit cards, all of the latest orders. She already has 9 customers, 2 members, 3 others in process. I have it drawn out on a chart. And so she just keeps finding people, and the people love her story and can't believe how she looks. And then she connects them to me, and I doing the legwork because she's getting therapy. She's driving her cheerleading daughter that's in national champions, and she cleans houses at $25 an hour from like 6 in the morning until she's out somewhere right now. And to pay for the alternative as well as the Nikan. And so there's no excuse. I mean, she is just, I am so on fire, and I'm so much more organized, and I don't have as much time to talk. Isn't that good news? Because I'm so busy.
So first of all, you're
so busy,
on fire, Madeline, because you got some people who are on fire, and that's the
you're on fire, and I'm on fire.
That's the surefire way to get on fire.
Yeah,
I got 2 personal new recruits myself this month. So hang on. So what is she saying? Like, wait, you've got a number of silvers in the, how many silvers are you breaking?
they're too deep with her, and then I have this two others that are working on it, and so I know what's going to happen with them when they see what's happening here, because it's already, because they don't know. They called me and I said, sorry, I'm not available. I'm working with Amy. I might be available on Thursday or Friday or something when this month is over. And so and she is so confident, her attitude, so it just rubs off. It rubs off, and it is contagious. And so.
And she's putting people on the phone with you?
On the phone, in person, meeting.
ABC.
Stuff all over, 55 miles away. I said, I had to recruit somebody to help me fill everything up. This woman that owns this integrative health center, 55 miles away. I want to see everything.
Okay, do you guys have any specific questions for Madeline? Because she can go on. We need a question and an answer.
I just took it all there. And as I'm going down the hall, that I could tell there was this stressful relationship going on with this owner of this center. So I kind of went around her and just piled everything up in this little alcove that I saw, because I wasn't going to go in there until I met her and found out what the rules were in there. People were getting therapy. And so she came out. I had lined up. I had this 1 hour window, and everything was there. I said, you said you wanted everything. And so I said, where do you want to begin? I have Stan's story. Igor's international. The woman was born in South Africa. She's been in the UK. She's here. And Ben. And I said, I have 3 people lined up. The Zoom starts in, she said, I want to experience what's in these bags. So we're in this empty space.
Wait. So the Zooms happen first?
No, I said I have them scheduled. So
okay.
Stan was online waiting. So I had to cancel them. So they're on call now. Actually, I recorded Ben today, and I Dropboxed that to her. And so I said, you have an exam table. I can't get on the floor with my 2 artificial knees. I used to. So she said, I do. So she's dragging in the table, wrapped the cocoon around her. Pretty soon, she was just like melted butter. She went in and got a nurse, massage therapist, technician, and then dragged the secretary in. And today I sponsored her. She has the list. I'm working with her. And that experiential thing, and the last.
Okay, so wait. So you're telling me that this experiential thing you're referring to is the roll-up?
Experiential, yes, experiential.
Is the roll-up? Well, they call it a roll-up for a reason.
Yes, and massage, and the air filter blowing. The air quality in the room, everything. I had the shake there. I had everything. One of every single possible.
Okay, but not everybody's going to do.
No, I know, but there have been components of it. But boy, has it led to a gold mine. And.
But she's got 9 customers. How?
All these people's houses that she cleans, and all the people that love her, including, just anybody that can see the difference in her. She's bald. She has been through, she's been able to get extra doses of chemo that she said they.
All right. So what you're telling me, what I'm grabbing from this is there's an enthusiasm that's coming from her that anybody who knows her knows there's a before and there's an after, and it's not the same.
I want to be a part of it, and I want to be a part of it. And then they say to me, the ones that want to know something, and so then the connection with me has been very positive, because there's the validation.
Of course. Then the ABC. So let's translate that into, what do we do about that? We're not brand spanking new. We're not
into a healthcare facility. Did you meet Amy there, or you?
Not a healthcare. No, she went in one car to get her therapy. She's in the room getting the therapy, and I went in another car filled up. But that's that one. There's others. I've gone to homes. They've come here. I've had people in and out of here. It's been more.
Madeline, I'm trying to get to the common denominator.
The common denominator was contact and invite, 3-way call, an invitation for a personal meet, communion with another person, and then asking for other referrals. And we're getting the other referrals. They're telling somebody else. We're in one community of, actually an over 55 community, and they're telling everybody. And so it's
okay. You told me what the actions are, but what's the intention behind that?
And the other thing is, I pull out that 5 pillars that I like, Michael, and I say, this is the product. This is the product. This is what drives me. It's having balance in this. And what you're experiencing is the tool and the vehicle to achieve this. You know, what of this right now with what we've all been stuck in experience. So I'm using this whole experience. I don't like it. And so there's a solution. And I'm feeling as good as I do because I've been in a wellness sanctuary for 22 years, not just for the past 7 months. And would you like to experience what you just experienced? One little finger strength test, whatever it is, turn around further with the water, some kind of an experience. If it's with the person in Norfolk, Virginia, doing what I shipped to her so that she could do it with her kids and I could watch them, and I have them taking a video of one another, the 45-second video, and so that's what they're doing, that group there, because I'm not there. And so, but it's the same thing. And what I got down to, what does she want? Single parent mom, 30, actually, I missed her birthday. The one, Amy turned 43 yesterday, and today.
And let me ask you to pause for a second. So it sounds like the fundamentals, Madeline, as we've always known them, that the personal touch, the personal contact, the personal product experience, the relationship to the 5 pillars, which is the motive with what drives us, and that the products are the tools, it's the vehicle, keeping the two very clear so they understand that we're not here to peddle products. We are just simply providing people with a solution that's in alignment with our ideology, with our philosophy of life.
And what's been fun is to, out of that healthcare center and medical model, but everybody is feeling so stressed, instantly they feel better. I mean, instantly. How would you like to feel that way all the time? Where do I begin? Where do you want to begin? You know, I mean, I give the suggestions, that which is the other thing. Guess what everybody wants? Air filters, sleep systems, seat cushions, packs. Why can't this 86-year-old woman, I want it all now. Why don't you have a wellness home pack? I said, well, we had that a few years ago, you know.
Oh, no, we don't speak about the past.
I know, no. I said, we could put it together. I said, we, because they saw in the catalog 3 packs, 10% off, and 2 of the 3 aren't there. And so I said, we'll put it together. We'll put it together. Figure out what you want. We'll knock off the 10% and, you know, give you that in something or another or whatever. Figure it out. I mean, just what do you want? We'll put the pack together. We'll make the pack happen.
Okay. So
and for the pack is
does anybody have any comments or anything to add to it? Like, if we're recording this, so if we were going to give this to somebody on our team, we want them to have what nugget from this? What are you getting from this?
The nugget is, let's go back to Barb Satterwhite, the shipping business, the relation shipping, the communion, the humans being more, the 5 pillars of health, leading with that. Where are asking those questions on the balance? Okay. And would you, if I could show you, would you? And, you know, even when they say this is hurting, that's hurting, well, let's take that. What's that doing to, how can you get around? What can you do? And the loneliness. And so even the Zoom, you know, sharing, instead of me doing all of these order entries and that, can you get on it right now? We'll do it. You put your information in. So they're doing it. This is how you do it. This is that. And so I give a little lesson. I mean, I must have done 6 of them in the past 2 days for this is how you sponsor your registered customer. This is whatever. This is the difference. I have all these sample prices here. Would you rather pay this price or this price? And to get your $100 back. I mean, anything I can possibly slip in there so that they can have more. I mentioned the combination. You'll have a faster effect. You'll feel better faster. You know, this combination or that combination. What one thing is going to work? Well, any one thing will work if you're pointing to an area, but it'll all work better when sports bottle nutrition and a power band that has 3 energies in it. I mean, put the combination of the energies together. And I keep getting back to that. Human energy, love, and relationship. And the opportunity to support others that are feeling just like you feel, the sharing, and we need referrals, we want referrals. We would appreciate, you felt better, can you think of 5 other people? I'm using that. This doesn't have to be for you, just get whatever you want here. Who else can you think of today? Yeah. So and
I want to emphasize this point that I'm feeling, and that is that we are a solution, folks. We are a solution. So if you get sucked into the mayhem, then you're not going to be a very effective solution because you're going to be a victim. You got to get out of victim mentality and get into solution mentality.
And the sleep is what the sleep, they're all commenting about that. So we have solutions. Start with the cocoon, a sleep mask, a Kinko ground, or 2 blankets, summer, winter, 1 pillow. And
Yes, we do have.
then as the other ones come out, then
Then
give
they
your
get
kids
the other ones when they
yeah.
come out.
Sit
Yeah.
on the couch, wear it when, you know, use the cocoon on the, we have colder
Brilliant.
weather up here, and let the cat crawl in it, which is who's going to crawl in it anyway. You don't have to convince them.
Brilliant. Yeah. So sell what you got, and everything is going to add. Everything contributes. There's no question about it. Okay, but I just want to stay on point here. So, anybody else want to jump in here? What are your nuggets, Barb?
Along those lines, for instance, you remember when we did the ICANN,
Yes.
and you talked about, you and Marty talked about your 5 best customers?
Yes.
I mean, quite honestly, I've just connected in the last 2 weeks with 2 of my favorite customers. And from both of them, one, I just signed somebody up because they were there with them, and I was helping her, and she got an order, but this person, and then the other person, again, because I was helping her, there's a referral there. So, you know, even though you can't do what Madeline's doing and physically doing, you can call people and connect with them. I personally went to visit them because I love it. I had lunch with this one lady. She's 78. We hadn't seen each other in 3 or 4 months. And she's the one that brought up, so what's new with Nikan? Okay. And then it was so cool because then somebody came in to visit her that's totally needy and wants things and needing physically. So, you know, that connection can happen over the phone. It doesn't have to be, but it's that connection and that relationship and that trust that's so darn important.
So then, if we are such an important solution, such a great solution for people out there, are there any stones that we have that are left unturned? Are there people that we need to get back to? Not just new people. I mean, we definitely want to introduce new people to Nikan, but it seems like a lot of you are getting referrals by getting back to the people you have trusted relationships with. So you're getting new people through the people that you already have a connection with.
I love what Barbara Bertucci said, and because this name keeps coming up, oh, this is an interesting fact, Mike. This person who was a nurse used to be into as a consultant, but it's been kind of an off and on customer. She came, I texted her the last 5 minutes before the Zoom in. She got on that Zoom in. I couldn't tell. And afterwards, immediately texts me and says, I need to get back in with Nikki. Not to sign up. She would not sign up, but she wanted more products because of that Zoom in. But it was somebody that's been on my radar because I loved her. And as Barbara said, now I need to go back with the convention and the fact that she keeps coming up. I love that term, Barbara. Your name keeps coming up. And I've said this to her a lot. I said, you know, I love working with you and I'd love for you to partner with me. But if you just want to be a customer now, that's fine. But I know she would be so into it. So,
by the way, with respect to the event, one thought, with respect to the upcoming event, part of the reason why there is a fee is there's going to be speakers that are not in Nikan. We're talking about professional speakers that are coming into our event that are going to contribute to content. So it's a standalone event. It's something that people would benefit from whether they're in Nikan or not. So keep that in mind, that this is an information opportunity. It's an opportunity for people to connect to something that's meaningful, uplifting, informative, transformative. It's going to be brilliant. And you're going to kick yourself in the middle of the thing if you don't make the effort to get people there, because you know it's going to be damn good. And in the middle of it, you're going to be thinking, oh, I can think of 5 people who should be listening to this right now. That's going to happen.
I'm going to have a grazing party here, and I'm focused because 8 hours for some people, I know what their work schedules are. As soon as we find out when the speakers are, which ones, and I've talked about that. I've shared, there's a variety of speakers on each of the pillars. You can come here for, any part and do the same thing. I have some others do the same thing at your house, gather a few people. And there will be food, and you can move to one space or the other, 2 sites to look, and you can sit on.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you're going to make an atmosphere around that. That's brilliant advice, guys. If you set your home up so that your home becomes a theater, so that you can actually host an event around the event, that's even better. Ruth, you unmuted.
I did. I wanted to ask, well, along to what Madeline said, that we are also California is still pretty restricted, but we've asked people, because we have a nice backyard that we can see people 6 feet apart, and we're saying, we'd like to pay for your ticket, but you can come to our house. So we've got a few people coming. But the other thing is, I wanted to ask you, Mike, you just mentioned that you had 2 new recruits. How did you find them, and what did you say to them? Did I miss it if you shared it earlier?
One of them is a former Niken consultant, reached out to me and said, I need to join Niken again, and I want you to be my sponsor. And I'm like, okay, so what's going on? And so I got the backstory on what's going on and so forth, the life-changing events and so forth, the fact that Niken has always been in the backdrop, background. That's one person. The other person, same scenario. He found me through one of my posts this week, and we started talking, and he asked me some questions about my experience in Barbados, and that led to one thing led to another. And then that was like, okay, so how do I get involved in this? He doesn't need this. He's got so many businesses, he doesn't know what to do with himself, but he likes this and he wants to be plugged in. So it's just like that. By the way, I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned this. When you get on a certain frequency, when there's harmony and alignment within you, they will come to you. You will be drawing them to you. They'll be phoning you. They'll be reaching you on your social media. So I'm telling you, it's like it's a frequency. It's simply get that frequency right, and then things will start to flood. The gates will open. And I'm saying this is going to happen en masse for us.
You're right. So I do want to share today, Robert and I, we have a customer in UK, and we've been thinking about him. We're about to reach out, and then he texted us with something, and I immediately invited him to the convention. And I said, check your calendar. It's going to be an amazing event, and 19 countries are coming. And he said yes. So we're buying him his ticket. So you're right. Everything just lined up, and it was effortless.
Excellent. Well, listen, guys, if you trust this, just trust this. I can't say any more than that. It's just allow yourself to be the conduit for goodness to flow. You are the creator in the flesh. You're made manifest. So let that flow, let that love pass through you and become something of a beacon for others. Barb.
There was another thing that was pretty, I didn't want it to pass over. And Madeline is creating urgency now. The gal, Amy, is creating urgency now. Her life is shifted, everything's changed, and she's just there conduit helping put the things in, put the orders in, but everything, people are open and receptive to it, Mike. That's what you're saying. But we need to get them to what she said was, who else do you know that could feel better today? Like, just adding that word today was a brilliant
and the incentives to go along with it. She's working for the $1,000 bonus for the 3 silvers. Tomorrow we'll finish the 3,000 points, and the half of it is already done with the retail. On the 31st at 1 o'clock in the morning, our time of August, was the power start completed. And so she's already spent that $100 amount, So now the others, the one for her that we've been together, and then I was with her yesterday afternoon. So then in connecting on Zoom, as I'm trying to explain something on there, she saw go across the screen the $1,000 bonus. Well, now what's this for? Because her initial was she wants to help Amy. And so now I said, perfect time now. We have the last 3 months. You can do the same thing. The best way that you can help Amy is you get your $1,000 with your 3 silvers, with her, be one of hers, and get your own 3 silvers. And so that team energy and the incentives, using the incentives, and the last 3 months of the year, the convention when it is now. So I've done all the promotion on that for whatever part. And that instead of having to fly to New York, we have so many more people that can see whatever part of it and come early. If you think you can only do one part, then if you need to leave or tune, you'll find yourself, you want to hear who the next speaker is. and then you can stay tuned in when you're on the road. This is what she's doing. She's on the road texting and talking, and wherever she has to go next, whenever there's 5 minutes. And going to other events. When you talk about the the energy, I went to haven't been to one in a while, but they did a rooftop of a hotel that was redone, a historical society fundraiser. Well, my God, talk about all the old colleagues. And I mean, people came up and, my God, Madeline, you haven't changed at all. You're not still doing that magnetic thing, are you? I said, it's a global, it's not a magnetic thing. It's a global community. Imagine the sense of community. And I said, I love how I live. I love how I feel. And so, one that was never going to hear anything about this, well, we have an appointment. I forgot about her. And
I love how I live. I love how I feel.
And she said, and you don't look bad. We're the same vintage. And so.
But the thing is, how many people are saying that in her life? I love how I feel. I love how I live.
She said, I need to come to see you. I'm not feeling that way.
But this is my point. This is the point that I'm trying to really underscore here. Guys, we are a solution. What we need to connect with is our horsepower. And our horsepower is going to be connected to something that's real. Go into your archives and figure out what is that moment in time where it was so real for you. Make that part of your story. Make that part of your explanation. Make that part of your introduction. And then extend it. Go from there to what's coming. That this event is going to be incredible, that this event is going to be a tipping point for people. It's going to be a transformative event. There will be a pre-Nikan event and a post-Nikan event, as there is a pre-COVID and a post-COVID. That's what's going to happen here. So if you're looking for a way to put 2020 in the rear view mirror and have a gander at the future, and you want a part of that, this is where you want to be. You want to have those 2 days set aside to just entertain what's going to happen. This is how we need to get connected emotionally to what we've got. We've got something that's so relevant, so important, and yet I still don't feel the horsepower. There is in some of you, but I don't feel it in all of you. Now, I'm not there every minute of every day in your life, but I'm just saying, amp it up, guys. And how are you going to make it real? Connect to something that's already happened in your life. Barb, you wanted to say something? Is that a way?
The terms you used, which I wanted to hear more about this, because you said this is for people in Nikan and out of Nikan because it's transformative. What were the other terms you used?
Oh my, I'm glad we recorded it. It's transformative. I don't know. What did I say, guys?
It's timely with what we're experiencing. I mean, yeah.
Well, I think it's important because like if I'm inviting somebody that's non-Nikan, I want to give them a picture of it.
Barb, this is how I try and put it. Like it's going to be Friday, Saturday. Okay. So Friday and Saturday is going to come and go in your life, like every other Friday and Saturday. And you know what? Sunday and Monday is going to be exactly like every Sunday and Monday that's in your life. If that's okay with you, that's fine with me. But what about if instead it was a predictable Sunday or a predictable Monday or the rest of the week or the rest of your life? You did something that was different and created something that's no longer predictable. A future reality that's not the same, that's not predictable. What if you spent the Friday and Saturday with me in this session, and what you gleaned from this, and I promise you, you're going to get something from this that will change your life. You will not come out Saturday the same person as what came in Friday, which means Sunday will not be the same as any Sunday previous.
What I've used with some people, Mike, on the speaker on the business change in the world and how this acceleration of 2030 happened now because of the last 6 months. I said, I've listened to you about your business and what you're doing, and you don't have time to look at anything else. You might want to listen to a few of these speakers. They're not Nikan speakers. This is about this change. And just tune in. Take an hour out and tune in. I really want to focus on the keynote and hope that's early enough on Saturday. Ruben told us that guy was going to be on Saturday to whet the appetite to then not leave. So I have tickets that I'm buying for those kind of guests, if they'll commit to at least just watching that, related to what you're doing. So
Did
they're
they
there.
tell us? Did they tell us when they're going to announce the
Well,
agenda?
tomorrow we have a Team Kaizen meeting, and so whether it's tomorrow or whenever, I don't know. We're going to find out who the speakers are on the 5 pillars of health. Ruben did tell somebody, I don't know, maybe it was Ruben that told us. I don't know where I heard it, that he'll be.
I've been sharing more like the HBM, Mike, and what I got out of it and how it can be used as a catalyst to anything that you're doing. So it won't matter.
You've got to help
It won't
people
matter.
believe. You got to help people believe that there can be a difference.
But
That a shift in their
do-
ideas, a shift in their way of looking at things can result in a completely new reality for them. And if you're not satisfied with the reality that you've been living and the nonsense that's going on around us, that's trying to force us into a reality that no one wants, then we got to step out of that and step into something else. That's what this is. This is something else. This is wholesome. This is going to help you
no matter
prosper.
what and where you are. And some of the people, I'm actually signing them up as customers just so they have an ID and they can go in the back office and check it out. Because I don't know where they are in my group. No, actually, they're a long time ago. I'm sorry. I'm not taking them from one group, putting them in another. Not at all. But they're no longer around, or they've fallen off. And I'm like, well, let's at least get you a customer account. So I just want people to know, don't drag them in so you can be dragging them around. Let them be a retail customer till they get their socks wet and figure out what they want to do or not. And collaborate, and then ask for referrals after. And maybe look at where you're going to have an event or a connection afterwards, you know, to play with the team members and then the guests. So that's what I'm thinking. And, you know, what are we doing?
Okay. So let me just bring it in because we're at the end of the hour. So essentially, what we're talking about is an alignment to our heart and our mind, so that there's a heart-mind coherence, so that when we're speaking with such authenticity and intensity that people really perceive the truth. Why is that important for us to do? Because we can't be complacent about this. We're not going to be able to get through the thick of the noise. You got to be something beyond that. You got to be something that steers people toward a hopeful future. And why can they believe you? Because you have hope yourself. And that's only going to be true if you connect on an emotional level to something that's real for you. Get back to that place that's truth. And then from there, you follow the protocols, you know. We do the ABCs, we do the intros, we do the demos. Those are all the things we do. But the energy with which we do them is what determines what's going to happen. And that's what I think is important here. Is
the pre-launch end of the year before 2020. Look at the perfect timing of this, you know, before Thanksgiving, before Christmas, and then 2021. Nothing can be like 2020. Would you like to be part of that change?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm saving $79 a month and stopped the television in January. It's been wonderful. So that screen is used for only what I want to project on it. And that's made such a difference. I find out enough otherwise, the bleeps that come through on the phone and for everybody else has to talk about it. And I walk away from those conversations. We can change that.
There
channel.
you go. There you go. Just, try not to get wrapped up in the noise, because it is extremely divisive and it's untruths most of the time, to the point where it's really hard to determine what's true and what's not true. You know, all the mystics that I read, they tell us to go inside, that you have to seek that within. So,
what Jeff's been doing in the Humans Being More, Mike, is the chaos to order, and some really very good little videos and you know, some of the theory behind it. And that's what it has felt like for so many people. So you can help create the order and energy, the energy. I mean, to me, I think the energy is, and the energy with what we have to offer, it's, that's what we have.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, all my years you've known me, you've known that I have a spiritual root to me, that everything I'm about is about that. But it's more now. It's even more than that now. I feel that this is what I've been waiting for all my life. I was born into this moment that we have laid down a foundation for a change that is imminent. And that on the flip side of this coin is what we've been waiting for as a species. And so I'm so, I look at what could I be doing, first of all, in this time, and what will I be doing in these times coming? Well, what's more relevant than what we're doing? I still haven't found anything more relevant, because I would be doing it if I felt it was more relevant. So I love what I do. I love who I do it with, that we have a philosophy that is piercing to the spirit. It's so truthful. It's just really the truth unfolding through us. And then we have these wonderful technologies that allow our body to experience harmony in alignment with nature. And we have a philosophy that drives us to speak about things that are important in life rather than noise. And so you put that together and do more of it. It's just more, you're going to be happier with yourself because you're doing it. You're putting in a good day's work if you're out there communicating with people, your passion for this. And so, yeah, let's do more of it.
Mike, I got to say that if anybody, I've learned from you that whoever I can get to these big events to have the vision, to get the thing. So look at what we're saving by not going to New York. I invite everybody to go get the 5 extra tickets. Look to what customers or what other people you can get to have them get there.
Yeah.
Or guarantee their money back if they don't get a benefit, right? Like do that little bit of that coercing, because it's that big of a deal for your players, for your team, for who are you going to take to Mount Everest? Who is that? Who are those people? Who are your core guys? And that's what I was looking at doing in playing.
Absolutely. And by the way, it's really a nominal fee. It's better that it's something than nothing, because people value something. Even if it's a nominal fee, if there's more value, it's more perceived as valuable. So yeah, okay. We know what we need to do. Let's finish up this month on this vibe. Take the next 2 days to put it into practice and start to make some things happen, and just trust yourself. Go to sleep tonight. Before you fall asleep, ask. You've got this spirit that is connected to everything that is. Ask it for help. Ask it for connection. Ask it for direction. Ask it for intention and influence. Just ask.
And be grateful what is already there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? Something good. What's the best that could happen? Something even better. So I think we just need to get into the habit of being connected and staying connected on that spirit, on that vibration, because people, we respond to it. They see it in us. They want it. When you're glowing, people wonder.
Finding the joy, live life better. Yes.
Perfect. All right. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for all your contribution.
Thanks, Mike. I
See you next
appreciate
week.
it.